Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. I see in chat we have a first, a second, a two-word, a thirst, forned, and a fisk, and a sixth. Sixth. I thought I'd be zeroist on my own channel, but here I am. Chat, I am proud of you. You're very good at counting, and I appreciate that. Oh, man, it's good to see you, Catholic Bray Herd, Kit TC, Chizo, and Bad Roxy. Good to see y'all. Hope y'all are having a good day. Seven comes next. Oh, dear. We're going to get a lefty one. Okay, this reminds me of... hey, little cheesy. This reminds me of Victor Borga's bit, and I'll get back to that in a moment, because first I want to congratulate Catholic Brits on the crown of Furstendom this day. Lo, you have claimed it on this, the day of the midweek. I suppose this makes it the mid-Vulcan crown. Congratulations. So Victor Borga, stand-up comedian of late, had this bit about number inflation, and it's very funny, because he talks about how, you know, when there's inflation in the economy, the language doesn't match it, and we should change that. So instead of 2 oranges, I have 3 oranges. Things like that. And it goes on further and says, you know, there are numbers in all sorts of words. So a sentence like, I ate my tenderloin with a knife, or with a fork, should become, I nined my lavender loin with a fife. And that joke lives rent-free in my head. All right, let's go ahead. Let's dive on in to... I gotta set something else up first. Almost forgot to put the music overlay on. Hey, ho. Okay, so last time we decided we are going to be working on a marketplace. So I have some examples, actually. Oops. If I do this, I have some examples on my other screen of what other people have done in Minecraft with medieval-style marketplaces. So I have something to work off of. I like the idea of a lot of the stalls having their own shape and also different woods to make it really seem like a conglomeration of people from different places that have come together. But I think what I want to do first is actually establish the road. Make it look like a German Christmas market. Christkindlmarkt? I love Christkindlmarkt. I don't think I can do that, though. Anyway, what I think I want to do first is establish a road or a road system. It does look amazing. I've never actually been to a Christkindlmarkt. I should like to go sometime. I have 1 log. I actually really like this oak tree being in front of the house, so I don't want to chop it down. We don't need no stinking roads. Well, need and want are 2 different things, and... I want them, so... I know some places in the States have their own version of it. Yeah, there are lots of Christmas markets in America. In fact, here in the city, in New York, there are a ton. There's one just down the street from me that will be opening up probably Friday. They probably start setting up just after the parade leaves. Sister used to have a traditional running to Frankenmuth in Michigan for Christmas prep. Ooh. Sounds like a fun time. That is a fuel source. Good to join from the comfort of your apartment. Yeah, I think I'm technically the only person working for Busted Halo right now. I think everyone else either took the day off, is traveling, or just did like a half day from home. Okay, so what I'm thinking for the roads is you can flatten the grass, make like dirt paths. So I think like 4 wide is probably good for like the main thoroughfare. Got a 2 because Bishop is nice. There you go. We like this Bishop. Cobblestone? I could do cobblestone as a road. And maybe as the main road I will do cobblestone. I don't know, but I definitely want to do like at least side paths as like the more like packed dirt. Road or walkways? Yeah. Yes. Little column A, little column B. My shovel is too good. I keep breaking the dirt beneath it. Remember watching one of those Explore Europe shows and there was a place they wouldn't allow even bikes. That's intense. What was it, Mount Athos? Oh, hello, little subterranean area. Is this 4 wide? It is. Good. Got efficiency X. Yeah. This is efficiency 4, fortune 3, unbreaking 3, mending. Don't like this dark spot. Good thing you're not playing with Apotheosis. I'm not familiar with Apotheosis in Minecraft. Is that like a mod? Extra strong enchantments as well as other things. It is mod. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never really gotten into modded Minecraft. Not like opposed to the idea of it or anything. I don't know. I like vanilla. Where's this zombie that's dying? Oh, there it is. Let's put a torch down here then. Oh, that's a creeper. That's another creeper. Vanilla Plus. I suppose technically this is Vanilla Plus because it does have Optifine. But that's just to do the shaders and also the zoom. I like the zoom. I get a kick out of it for no real reason. And eventually when we have the plaza, I'll connect this pathway to it. I don't like... No, the spyglass is cool, don't get me wrong, but it's so much more convenient to just not need a tool and just go whoop. Especially when you want to look at something beautiful in detail. Like, look at that. Look at that dome. What a good dome. Excuse me. What pie is my fave? Ooh, that's a... Should have made it waxed copper. Oh, on the dome? I suppose I could... I actually prefer the wood of it. Like, I think it ties into the whole thing better with its tones. I mean, I just had a slice of pecan earlier today that was really good. But I do love a good pumpkin as well. I don't know, I'll probably just have a slice of each of whatever is served. Pumpkin or apple? I think it depends on my mood, but I think generally I would say pumpkin. But again, I think that's a situation where I also want to say, well, why not both? ¿Por qué no los dos? Oh, my accent was terrible there. You're the only one in your family who enjoys mincemeat? Mincemeat is good. Saw a recipe for an apple butter pie. So moussey like pumpkin pie, but tastes like apple. Oh my goodness. That sounds decadent. Should be providing a bottle of weird Eastern European wine to family Thanksgiving, a Georgian red wine. Well, it's good to have a hobby. Good to see you, Brayherd. Now, I don't want the market getting too close to the church. Also because I just want the use of the church to remain unobstructed. Would it be too morbid to have a casket supplier in the marketplace? I mean, there is a graveyard just on the other side. Why am I not surprised there was a casket vendor at the Eucharistic Revival? That just seems so on point. As Catholic, it just seems too perfect. Happy Revival, Memento Mori. It could somehow only be better if, and more Catholic if there's a way to exit through the gift shop. What if I don't want to memento my mori? Then it's really going to catch you off guard one day, I think. Okay, so this is kind of the layout we have right now for our little market. If you die before you die, you will not die when you die. Wait, what? 20 go to 10. Okay, let's chop down some trees and let's plant some trees. It's a sign posted at Athos. What? Oh, it makes sense now. Okay. Now in context, it makes a lot more sense. Outside of context, it makes no sense. And it sounds like a form of posting that one would do on the internet. He's not dead. He's mostly dead, which means he's still partially alive. Okay, as long as I get enough saplings to replace them. You're technically dead by what standard? Glad you got the reference. A&W is honestly not my favorite root beer. It's pretty good. This is just what the house has. What's my favorite? That is a great question. Depends on the day. I think Barks might be my general go-to, but okay, let's lay out the beginnings of a couple of stalls. Did I make a reference? How was it intended? These things happen. No, I made a reference. I made a joke about partially dead, or mostly dead, still partially alive, Princess Bride. I have not watched The Princess Bride in a long time. Hello, sheep. Are you going to be the vendor here? No? Okay. Maybe he's afraid of being the mutton. So I think this one I want to do open but shallow. Still kind of have things along the wall. A horrible time. You should be watching it now. Maybe I will. Okay, God bless. Take care. There's a really great version. It was done by Tubi at the very start of the pandemic. They got a bunch of movie stars and were basically like, hey, film a scene in your house. And then they stitched it together, and it's great. How about time? They've never actually seen it? That's surprising. But I suppose fixable. I have been to the Cliffs of, is it the Cliffs of Death? I think that's what they're called in the movie. They were filmed at the Cliffs of Moher in Ireland. And I've been there. They are very impressive cliffs. Not that mohair. Maybe I'll do a little, like, information kiosk right here. And these are not necessarily even the final shapes or layouts, but I'm just kind of getting more or less a general feel of what a space might look like. Because maybe this one is open on both sides. Who knows? Okay, bye. That block of dirt is dead to us. Ah, Invisalign. He is one with the tree. There, now he's white. See? I have so many beehives. I'm very happy to have this many beehives, but also, I can't chop down these trees. Oh, excuse me. Or more accurately, I can't bring myself to, chop things down. We are coming up on purple. However, Meat Mass is, randomly weighted according to Sundays of the year. Can you silk touch hives in vanilla? Yeah, you can. I just haven't. I can't even say it's because I don't have a silk touch tool, because I do have a silk touch tool. But I also like it aesthetically, is part of the problem too. Nope. Although I suppose one of these shops I could set up with hives, like the ones you can craft. Then have them be an apiary. In fact, why don't we make this one the apiary? Just make it extra big. Well, decently big, but... Always mix up hives and nests. Bees go in one and bees go in the other. Wait, no, that doesn't work. Yeah, IDK. Magnus the Purple! Welcome to the channel. Thank you for the follow. Glad to have you. Hope you're having a good day. Trying to think. I saw your name on someone else's channel. Was it Junies? Were you hanging out in Junies the other day? Might hollow some of this out. Might use this shape for this shop. Maybe like set it up as like a stable or something back here. Fortunately, don't need to worry about that right now. Right now, we're just sort of establishing a general layout. Should probably set up an information booth on this side as well. Have one at each entrance. Got so foggy. I want to clear the weather so when we take this aerial view, okay, that's coming together. How many do we have right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have about 15 stalls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have about 15 stalls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have about 15 stalls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have about 15 stalls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have about 15 stalls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have about 15 stalls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have about 15 stalls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, can comfortably and easily put like a little one here, like a corner thing, and put something there. So. And the woods that they are right now may not even be the final ones, because I think I want to go get jungle wood, just as like another option. Oh, and I absolutely should have one that's acacia, given that this used to be an acacia forest right here. So oak planks. A small one over here as well. Then I probably want to put one here so that this corner makes sense. Alright, that is feeling like a populated whole space now. Are these going to have roofs or awnings? No, I thought I'd just leave them just like this. No, I'm kidding, sorry. Yeah, no, the plan is to, like, build each of them up. But, like, I don't want them all cookie cutter. I don't want it just, like, okay, and this is where, you know, the fence post goes, and this is where that goes. So I want to intermix different styles of roofs. Some might be an open concept. Like an open top roof. Fences, wool, carpets, terracotta, exactly. Okay, let's go get some jungle wood. Which fortunately doesn't mean we have to go far. Because there's jungle, like, just over that way. But, like, yeah, some might have colored wool roofs, whereas others might have wood slabs, different amounts and styles of awnings. I should make a, is it a Fuller's Lie? I forget the name of the tool, where you can customize banners and whatnot. This looks like a prime pair of trees to chop down. Lil Munster 10, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a good day. Kid has redeemed a father joke. You know, I've tried writing jokes about being unemployed, but none of them work. There we go. Now all's right in the world. Too close to home. Oh, I'm sorry. Generally, part of why I like puns as a form of humor is they don't tend to draw upon anyone else's poor experience. Just because you don't pay taxes. I'm employed, I just don't pay taxes. There is a difference. It's good, just close to home. That's fair. I'm sorry. My prayers, know of my prayers for you and in your time and, you know, looking for a job, for meaningful work. Rotata. You know, I looked at the readings and I prepared something and I can't remember what it is. And sometimes it'd be like that. Sometimes you get to the end and you're like, what was I gonna say? So, give me just a moment. Oh yeah, there's some interesting juxtaposition in the readings. Hold that thought. Two very different apocalyptic images. My boss just sent me a picture of the weather in Texas where he is. It's 78. Anyway, no, interesting juxtaposition of two different apocalypses, one of glory and praise and the other of facing persecution. And really, the church accepts both. The biblical tree topper meme. And the angel said to Santa after a long, hard day on Christmas Eve, Santa, where does the tree go? But you know, the church faces and accepts sort of the hardships of the world and knows that that is not the true end. The true end is the glory of God. And so we strive and we work for it, and we also hope and pray for it. Let's make another chest. Be a little more comfortable with the space. Let's go and knock down some acacia trees. Excuse me. I heard an Enderman. Good. A few acacia saplings. So I would like this hill to remain more or less the same. I know each tree won't grow back identically, but you gotta head out. Hey, it's all good. Thank you for stopping by. As of do around the apartment, moving all the soul stuff around so you can have a place to eat. Oh, you want a place to eat on Thanksgiving? Hope you have a great Thanksgiving, Britt. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, late to the game. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. You getting ready for a big Thanksgiving? Any unique Italian twists that you bring to the table? Hey, little monster. Okay, so what I want to do next is actually make a bunch of signs. And that's to help plan out what's going to go where. Oh, your Italian twist come on Christmas Day. Ah, do you do the 7 fishes? Just got back from Paris, help set up for the community meal they do tomorrow, and then a smaller event with your in-laws. Sounds like a good time. Blacksmith. Fletcher. Oceans. Haven't done 7 fishes yet, but you want to. You should make some homemade pasta for Christmas. Ooh, nice. Potions. Granary. No, granary is spelled like... I don't remember how granary is spelled. I'm having an existential crisis. Going with that. Knickknacks. Oh, no wonder I was spelling it wrong. I was adding an I. Thank you, Chizo. Which one was going to be the apiary? I think it was this one. Bookstore. I had thought of this one being the stable, but I think it's actually better to put the stable kind of more on the edge of town. Or the edge of the marketplace. Other info booth. The Fullers. Have the meat shop have not necessarily like a butcher, but more like a countertop service restaurant kind of thing. Hibachi? I guess? I'm just thinking of a place that has, like, pre-cooked steak and fish and things on display. Ooh, a bakery. One of them should be a bakery. So we can put a cake out. You know what? I'll make the bakery this back corner, make it seem kind of seedy. One of those places I've seen in the Middle East where you just hang meat and cut a bit off when you want to buy it. Yeah, kebab shop. Okay, so what else should we put in here? We have about 5 more. Gonna make produce would be a good one, yep. Can make that one like laborers for hire. Carved novelties. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. This corner one, I have it labeled knickknacks. So we still have this one, and we have these two. Carpenter, stonemason. Maybe that's what I'll do with this one. I'll do carpenter and stonemason. So they kind of like share a space. And this is just kind of like their show floor, essentially. Potter? Maybe. Not really feeling that one. Florist. Ooh, could do florist. It's a shame there isn't cheese in Minecraft. Otherwise, I'd do a cheese shop right here. Okay. Making at least 2 different kinds of cheese and modded. Nice. As is right and just. Can you eat them, though? Just take a bite out of a cheese wheel. Doggone burgers. Why are you making burgers out of dogs? That's horrible. I suppose I could do a glacier. Might be spelled with a Z, but I don't know. But that should give us just about everything we want. Shall we talk about your doggone humor? No, my humor's perfectly doggone. So I'm gonna need some more leather. So let's go to the leather farm. Because I think we actually need to restock the cows. I'm gonna need a lot of leather because I'm gonna need item frames. I'm gonna need books. Oh yeah, these cows have room to move around. What is this? If they're not getting entity crammed, you're wrong. Exactly. I got room for so many extra cubic meters of cow in here. I'll need to visit the wheat farm next. Okay, so I'll need honeycomb. Honeycomb is when you clip it. You like the facade on this one? Yeah, this was the first thing we built in this world. Celebrating the first anniversary of the channel. It's the Door to Darkness from Kingdom Hearts. And it serves as a convenient door into my base and mine. Over there's the candy store that we built for year 2. Kingdom Hearts? You have to talk to my younger brother about that one. I will gladly talk about it. I love that game. And it's ridiculous over-the-top plot that actually makes no sense but is fun anyway. Seeing Goofy swinging a key at some weird ghosty things. That's all I know. That's about all you need to know. I've had dreams that made more sense than Kingdom Hearts. Hey, good news. It's through dreams that you can time travel in Kingdom Hearts. I hope that helps. I had a campfire over here. And I think I broke it down. Stupid Endermen not cleaning up after themselves. What do I look for again? Right, campfire. Where did I put that campfire? Found to time travel, I'll just play Chrono Trigger. Oh, man, we've been enjoying that on Mondays. Love Chrono Trigger. Heard an interview from the director of Kingdom Hearts earlier this summer. He said Sora's comment from the first game, "Is this all a dream?" will ultimately be answered in 4, and I'm thinking they ultimately say, yeah, he was just dreaming the whole thing, lol. I would actually be upset. Because that would mean he was having dreams inside of his dreams. And having flashbacks to millions of years ago. You know, maybe it actually does make more sense. Ah, there it is. Campfire. Inception. Bois. I heard you like bois, so put your bois in the bois. The gameplay of Kingdom Hearts is top notch, though. Yeah, it's so fluid. Like, I will never try and defend the plot. I can explain the plot. in way more detail than I wish I knew sometimes. But the gameplay itself, it is always fun. Except Encoded, but that game doesn't count. You know what game you have but never been able to play? I'm not Psychic, so unfortunately, no, I do not know. What is it? Resident Evil. Do you not do the spooky games? I don't do the spooky games. The only one I've ever played was Silent Hill 3. And that was... I technically wasn't even playing. I was just watching a friend play it in college. The angles get you. Oh, that is fair. The old RE1 angles are a mess. Because I have a conversation about a long-term impact of nominalism on our era, and I dive into metaphysical history, but for the life of me, Kingdom Hearts makes no sense. I think you just described it in some ways. Used to play that one. Very nice. It is a classic, but dang, it has not aged well. Like tank controls. Okay, good. Actually, a honeycomb block would be kind of nice to have at the apiary. Probably want a few more beehives, but that's enough to start. Is the apiary birch? I want to say it was birch. Bakery, apiary. Okay, great. Kind of like the idea of the apiary being counter-based. So, like, this is a great moment where, like, how we build tells a story. So, like, having it as a counter where other people can't get back here kind of sends a signal of, like, hey, back off. Don't come in here. Boo. Ah! We have live bees! Do I play Fortnite? I do not play Fortnite. How about Duck Hunt? I was actually slightly too young to really play Duck Hunt. My neighbors had an NES. But growing up, I had a Super Nintendo instead. So a lot of the light gun stuff had already passed by. There was some on the Super Nintendo, but not as much. Oh, I should grab some scaffolding. Super Mario All-Stars, yeah! Yeah, I'm better at the Super Mario All-Star versions of the games than the originals because of that. And their physics are slightly different. Played a lot of that, played a lot of Donkey Kong Country, what else did I play? Super Mario World, of course. Had a game called King Arthur's Court. Wish Yoshi were more popular, that is fair. Wing Commander on the SNES. There's a game that was really good. Oh. Why did I put my axe away when I'm working with wood? Yoshi came in at the right time for Kirby to eat his dreams, though. Played a lot of Kirby, too. Had Kirby All-Stars. I want to make some more. Well, I need to make some more fences. What other classics did I play on the Super Nintendo? I didn't ever have F-Zero or Metroid or Star Fox. Every time I try telling my kids or nieces or nephews about Yoshi's World, they're like, who? Oh. Where's the justice? I know my cousin's kids aren't going to be like that, though. Yoshi was her favorite, so... Oh yeah, the dinosaur thing. Put a little bar there just to encourage people to not try and reach in and touch the beehives. There we go, a little apiary. My shingles are showing. Oh no! Quick, call the roof person. Okay, what was I gonna do next? Guess I won't look at the recipe book. It's a bit chilly for the pool. It's a heated pool. It'll be fine. So we have a fletching table. Loom, that's the thing I was thinking of earlier. I have string lying around. I don't think so. I think we used all our string to make candles in the basilica. Where's the steam then? Oh no, it's broken! Gonna have to call my repairman. The bill's gonna be so much. Oh, I know what I was gonna do. I was gonna come over here. Because I think I have a bunch of bricks. Because I thought about using bricks, but then I wound up not. So I can make flower pots. Yeah. I heard thunder. We're just gonna take care of that right now. Is that modeled after one particular basilica? Sort of. It's more modeled off of a conglomeration. So like, oh, my crafting bench isn't here anymore. So the windows and the sandstone color is based on La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. The high altar in the baldacchino is based off of St. Peter's in the Vatican in Rome, complete with a confessio. This is a very Roman style thing to have, where like beneath the altar there's an area you can go underneath. There's like a tomb or relics. You'll see that in most Roman churches, like churches physically in Rome. But then kind of the outside, the extended cruciform is kind of a generic design thing. But the towers are very La Sagrada Familia. And then the flying buttresses is Notre Dame. It's based on... Whee! And then it has a choral section in the back, designed for like the canons who would lift the basilica. Name used to give me good thoughts, but after this year Olympics, it kind of gives me to shudder. Oh, Notre Dame? I think its great history far outweighs a 2-week thing. Plus, there's a really cool picture of the bells being put in. Or being blessed. They actually processed the bells down the main aisle. With people holding candles on either side of them to do a blessing. It's a very dramatic photo. Ow! I thought I threaded that needle. Okay, what color did we make the floors? Let's go find out. So I think the florist I want to be an open top. You know, so the plants can get their sunlight. We have to know what's going on in the Olympics. First thing can happen. Oh, double raid! Coffee and Yuha, thank you for the raids. Come on in, raiders. Hope y'all are doing well. How was It Takes Two? Did you solve the marriage? Did you heal the marriage? But welcome on in, raiders. Hope everyone's having a good week. Getting ready for Thanksgiving. The marriage was healed! Fantastic. So we used oak here. Good to see you, Bren. We finished it today. Hey, Coffee! Thank you for the follow. Weed. That puts me to 350 followers. Thank you. Would you describe the ending as emotionally satisfying? Wait. A couple of these big ones. You were satisfied. Okay. Definitely sweet and satisfying. That's good to hear. I keep finding out about it from other streamers and be like, man, that would be fun to play. Wait, all my friends have played it. Ah, c'est la vie. Well, you join us, Raiders, as we're working on a marketplace, kind of building out a town. It's a bit anachronistic. You know, the church is kind of timeless, but this is kind of a medieval style. But then the house is very modern. I don't know French. Parlez-vous un mot français? Why didn't I grab the axe? Again, I'm working on... So while this will be open top, what I'm thinking of doing is... No, a teeny bit of Spanish. Un poquito. So what I'm thinking of doing is stringing something visually across these. And you know what? They're going to keep their grass in the florist shop area. Excuse me? Ooh. Chains could be good. Do chains go horizontal? I don't remember. Did they change that? They used to not. They do go horizontal. That's huge. It could be an experimental feature. Ah. Well, even if it's just like a slab or a block of cotton or something, just... Oh, I could test it. Okay, because I do know there's also the experimental features that you can opt into. I just wait for the stable releases. Chain. Oh, they do go horizontal now. Look at that. I am today years old. Remember, I main modded. That's fair. Yeah, I remember the big consternation when chains were brand new is that lanterns could not hang from them, despite the fact that the two textures, like, mesh perfectly. Now, I don't know how this will interact with fence posts. Ooh, they're just gonna hover. That's not gonna work. That is not gonna work. So I need 3 more types of flower. Stairs? Yeah, I could do like a stair slab stair. Or do stairs in the corners. Or I could just do fences. Am I just overthinking it and I should just be doing fences across? Because maybe I do fences across and then, like, around the 3 sides that aren't the front, I just hang a bunch of colorful banners. You just like to roll things around in your brain hole. That's fair. It's a good place to do that. Any color tulips here. Ooh. Lilies. Lily of the Valley. Huge. Well, I might just have to repeat some flowers, and that's okay. I don't think doubling up on tulips is a bad thing. What's the new mob called? Is that the forest spirit one that you're talking about? Because that creek sounds right, but... I don't think I've ever seen a forest mansion in any of my Minecraft games now that I think about it. Like, I've never gone... To be fair, I've never gone looking for one. I've also never seen the boss in the underground area that they added in. Yeah, I have one of the blue flowers over there. It's a cornflower, I think. I make wardens mad all the time. They scare me even with amped up armor options. Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard, and I'm like, I don't see a reason to fight one then. I know for some people the adventuring portion of Minecraft is where it's at, and more power to them, but for me, I mean, I think my builds speak for themselves as to what I like. The only reason I don't play in a pure peaceful world is you need some of the drops from creatures like TNT as an example. You like achievements? That's also a perfectly valid reason. I just get frustrated and revert to terraforming or building. Thus is the life cycle of a Minecrafter. Because there have definitely been times where I've been playing and I just go, you know, I don't feel like building anything, but I want to play Minecraft. I'm just going to go dig a really deep hole and see what things I find. Dang, I'm going to be off by 1. Oh. That's frustrating. That's kind of the fun of Minecraft. There's not really, like, a right way to play it. I am a dwarf, and I am digging a hole. Just make it a whole pergola? Yeah, basically. Which you guys actually need more. No, I'm out of oak. There we go. What are you talking about? You have to beat the dragon in less than 4 hours. That I've been playing Minecraft wrong for 15 years. In fact, it was literal years between when the Ender Dragon was added and when I ever actually got around to beating it for the first time. And part of it was originally, you know, it was like, okay, well, that's a cute challenge, but I don't care. And then for years, Elytra existed in the game, and I just had no idea. And it wasn't until I was watching some other streamers play Minecraft, and I saw that, I was like, oh, that's a cool thing for modded. That's a neat little way to get around. And then I learned it wasn't modded. Remember when villager trading was new? I remember when villagers were new. There we go. Add the little market to the map. I think it's a good size for the market. It feels like you can see different things. Might make a small path that connects through the backside there. The quizzical looks I get sometimes shape my statements. More people might remember the trading. That's valid. Okay, but I feel like we have made good progress. We've laid out where the marketplace, like considering last week it was, oh, we'll build a marketplace. You know, now we actually have the rough assemblage. Like, this isn't done. I definitely want to put banners on the florists, but I like the progress we've made. Also, I've realized where those are coming from. There's a little cavern down here that we paved over. Pumpkin pies, cakes, and cookies. Yep, need to make those for the bakery for sure. Also need to be just consuming those this weekend. No banana pie, though. But what are you supposed to throw at people, then? Or apple. That's a strong statement. I'm sure my house will have apple. But I think we're going to call it a little early. Just, you know, I'm going to start my Thanksgiving holiday a little early. But I think this is also just kind of a good place, naturally, to cut it off. So thank you so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today. And I hope you have a great rest of your week and a happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving celebration. Trying to think if there's something else I wanted to say, and I cannot remember it. Oh, well. Brain's not braining. The brain has gone on vacation already, apparently. But yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed. Thank you, Yuha and Coffee, for the raids. And thank you to everyone who's checked out the YouTube and the Discord. And I will see you all later. And why don't we see who's live to raid into? Black Cap Dapper Pastor, who's a fun guy, does a bunch of Bible studies. He is he's live streaming his Thanksgiving prep. Looks like he's currently making peanut butter cookies, cranberry sauce, and other prep. So we'll head on over there, give him some love. Looks like he just went on a break, so this is perfect time for a raid. But raid call will just be Happy Thanksgiving. It's good Said 10 times fast. Flat cap, dapper pastor, 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 flat cap, dapper pastor. I don't think that was 10, but still. Rolls off the tongue quite nicely. But yeah, he's a cool dude. He's a Protestant pastor. Does Bible study every morning. But just kind of a nice, chill dude. So go on over there, give him some love. Raid call is Happy Thanksgiving, and I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving too. Take care, and God bless.